So what exactly is an informational interview? An informational interview is your recipe for getting the recipe for the life you want. What we're going to teach you how to do today is how to talk to people and reach out to folks to build relationships with individuals who have the career that you may or may not want, so that you can learn from their professional experiences. How did they get to where they are in the world, and better understand different career paths and opportunities you may want to explore in your internship this semester, as well as throughout the entire arc of your professional career. It's one of the best ways to learn more about a new company, a new industry, to create more professional connections, and to genuinely just be curious about how other individuals who you view as successful got to where they are in the world, so that you might be able to follow in their footsteps. I'm going to go through a list of do's and don'ts for setting up informational interviews, provide an example email outreach script you can send to folks to schedule an informational interview, and then run through a great series of questions that you can put on the agenda to ask to the individuals that you do informational interviews with. So starting with the do's and the don'ts. First and foremost, you do want to be respectful of other people's times. You are almost always going to be reaching out to somebody above you who's kind of higher up on the totem pole, and so asking for a 2-hour informational interview isn't really fair. I find that asking for 15, 20, or even 30 minutes of their time, totally reasonable, especially if you're willing to accommodate their schedule and availability, and you don't want to monopolize the interview by only talking about yourself. If anything, you want to talk as little as possible so you can listen and learn from them. And one of the best ways to do that is to prepare in advance and to have your 30-second elevator pitch well honed and crafted, so that within the first minute of meeting in person or over the phone or Zoom, given today's climate, you're able to tell them who you are, what you're good at, what you want to get better at, and what career paths you're considering exploring. You don't want to show up and just wing it. If you haven't prepared anything, if you haven't done any research on who the individual is, where they work, what job title they have now, what previous job titles they've had, what they majored on in school, you won't be nearly as effective or able to capitalize on the opportunity. You also always want to follow up with a thank you note. Ideally, it's a handwritten note that you can mail. An email will do as well, but make sure that you are kind of closing the loop afterwards to reiterate how much you appreciate their time and attention to help nurture and guide you along your career path. And make sure too that you're not asking for a favor in the thank you note. You don't want to be pushy or demanding. You want to genuinely and authentically express your gratitude